Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Averie and today I will be discussing Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. So the clip you just saw was me yesterday night. That will come later through this video. So I actually intended this whole video of me talking about Kingdom of Ash to be a live reaction vlog. That didn't happen because I, number one, got so sucked into this story that I just forgot to film myself, and two, I had a lot of assignments due for my classes, so I didn't really have time to do all of this and then write a paper and have a test and a quiz. Yeah, this title says vlog and review. There is going to be some vlog parts in it, but it'll mostly be me talking about it right now in front of you. And before I get into anything, if you are watching this video and you have not read Empire of Storms or Tower of Dawn, just like if you have just not read Kingdom of Ash only, then you're good to go for this first portion of the video. The first portion of this video is just gonna be a little vlog of me going to get it, the book. That was gonna be my first part of the vlog I was intending for this. I'm still gonna add it into this video. This video is gonna be so long, isn't it? Hopefully y'all stick around. Those who have not read Kingdom of Ash, you can probably watch this next part if you want, but I will warn y'all later when I will be going into my in-depth thoughts. Okay, so we're in the apartment. Sorry if you see my serum behind me. It's midterms. I don't have time to clean. So I'm gonna open this package. Oh, I see it. It's gold. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna start crying. Oh. Okay, here. Ooh, I have bad lighting. It's a rainy day, okay? And we're from the window. Look. And there's the spine. And there's the back. Look how big it is. Is it Bible pages? It is Bible pages. How many pages? Don't get spoiled, don't get spoiled, don't get spoiled, don't get spoiled. It's 980 pages. 980 Bible pages. It's so pretty. Oh my god, I want to read it right now. Ugh, curse you. Papers. Freaking school. I wish I didn't go to school. I could just read books all day. I haven't like felt this excited about a new release since I wasn't even that excited for Tower of Dawn. I love Tower of Dawn a lot, but the lead up to it wasn't that exciting. Empire of Storms, or maybe Aqua War. I think I was more excited for Empire of Storms, to be honest with you. Sorry, it's hot. I gotta strip out of this sweater. I want to read it. I want to read it, but I can't because I have to write a research paper and do other homework. Crap. I'm gonna try and get this paper done as fast as possible. Oh my god, I also have to I have to go rewatch videos because I don't remember what happens in the previous books. Crap. I have to go to Christine's channel or something. I have my own video for Tower of Dawn, but I haven't seen Christine's yet. That's 40 minutes long, and then we have Empire of Storms, which I need to get caught up on both of them probably. I loved both of them, but I don't remember anything. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I have purchased the audiobook as well. I think I've listened to over half of these books, and I really enjoy them, and they really help with character pronunciations because I really want to know how places or names are pronounced. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook, and plus it makes it a little bit faster for me because put it on half speed and read it at the same time if you want to, and that's what I do a lot for the Throne of Glass books. Empire of Storms, I remember the last portion of it that I had left, I just sat in my bed and listened to it and read it at the same time, cry. That's gonna happen with this book. I listened to this book as well as read it. It really helped me personally, as I said before, with the character pronunciations, but also I spend a lot of my time walking throughout campus, at least over 40 minutes a day, and so that just added more reading time to myself. I was able to finish this book at the pace that I wanted to, and then in the amount of time that I wanted to, because I had that audiobook to listen to while I was walking to class. Even though it was really hard for me to also do that because I really like to take notes during Sarah J. Maas books, and I couldn't do that while I was walking to class. So I would have to like remember my mind. Ooh, I have to make a note of that. Ooh, I have to make a note of that. Before I get into my notes that I have right here. Yeah, I have, I think, 11 pages of notes in my notebook. Y'all are in for a wild ride. I just want to tell y'all that I loved this book. I believe it is the best book that Sarah J. Maas has written. Don't get me wrong, I love A Court of Mist and Fury. It's probably one of my favorite books of all time, but this book tops it. It tops it. It does. It's so good. When I go into this review part, I will be showing also snippets of me reacting to some of the, I think I only reacted to maybe like 3 things live from the book, so you'll see my reactions on some of those. I cried like over 10 times, and that has never happened with a book for me ever. There's also a certain scene in this book. It comes from that snippet that you saw at the beginning that goes on for around 10 minutes. And that is the most I've ever cried during a novel, reading a novel. So this book has emotionally like just drained me. You get to a certain point in this book where you just want to cry the whole rest of the time. But like halfway through that point, I was legit out of tears. Like I couldn't cry anymore. I wanted to, but I couldn't. But this book was so good. It's gonna be one of my favorites of all time. I loved it a lot, and I will be discussing why. So if you have not read Kingdom of Ash, I will be going into spoilers, so you'd probably want to click off now. Okay, bye. Okay, hello. Wait. My hamster is moving. Are you awake? It's the middle of the day. You should not be awake. Oh, she's just moving. So going into this video, I had not read Empire of Storms in 2 years, and Tower of Dawn has been, what, about a year? And I loved both of those books a lot, loved them, but I forgot the details. The details. You also need to know details, like even all the way from book 1, like from book 1 to Tower of Dawn, like there will be little details hidden throughout that I was just like, I forgot about that, or I don't know what this is. Should I know what this is? Me not reading those books maybe like lessened my enjoyment a little bit, but I still loved it. 5 out of 5 stars, duh. I was just a little bit confused here and there. Even though I did watch some reviews for Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn before I read the book, I just didn't get the little things. You know what I mean? First off, I want to get this off my chest because I need to talk about it. Feyre and Rhys appear in this book. If y'all didn't catch it, let me get to my notes. On page 800, Aiden is going through all those worlds, going through portals and portals and portals, trying to find her own world. And then she comes across a Fey male with wings standing on mountains with a Fey woman who is pregnant. And Sarah confirmed in it, she had Aiden say like, this isn't my world, but it's a world like mine. So that confirms everyone's theory as to whether or not the Throne of Glass world is like either set before or after the Akatar world. They are 2 different worlds. Sarah basically confirmed it right there. Rhys saw her and like used his magic to like slow her down. I like shoved the book away from me. I was like, oh my god. And I was so surprised. I was not expecting that whatsoever, and I loved that. I loved that so much. I'll be going through kind of chronologically, I want to say. We'll see how it goes. I think I might see a note about a person and then just talk about that one person for the rest of the time and then jump to the next person I see in my notes. We'll see what happens, but I have no structure to this review. Okay, wait, first of all, I just want to say I cried before chapter 1. That little snippet before chapter 1, I was already crying. I was going into this book like so devastated because I didn't want to read about Aiden going through all of the crap that Maeve and Karen are putting her through, and I knew that was gonna come up, and I was not wanting to read that at all. I'll get into that later, but like I didn't really, I wanted to read this book, but I also didn't because I didn't want to see that pain. So that first prologue introduction to the book was heart-wrenching. So one of the first chapters we have is Aiden's point of view, and he's just like being a dick. to Lysandra, and like Lysandra's just like so sad and kind of like pining over him the whole time. I was just like, why can't y'all just talk and forgive each other and like everything will be fine, everything will be okay. The moment when Lysandra's life is put in jeopardy, of course Aiden is like, I love you, I love you. I was kind of expecting that. I was somewhat expecting a scene to where one of their lives would become endangered and then they would reveal their feelings to each other. That's what I thought was gonna happen. That ended up happening. I love Aiden and Lysandra a lot. While talking about Aiden, that last scene with his dad hit me hard. Gabriel, just this whole time we've known about him in this series, has just been wanting to make things right with his son, and he did that by sacrificing himself. That was another cry moment, and Aiden finally realized he has a great father who would sacrifice for him. That scene where he goes and defends the keep is just like, it's so good, but like so sad. I cried in many scenes where Aylin was being tortured and Fenris had to watch her. That really got to me. I wish I could like beat up Karen myself. I don't know about y'all. I wish I could beat up Karen myself. That I loved the scene where Fenris breaks the blood oath. It took him to see Aylin give up for him to break that bond. Even though he knew it was gonna kill him, he still did it anyway. It was so good. And then Aylin gets rescued, obviously. We all knew that part was gonna happen, at least. Rowan, Lorcan, Elide, Gabriel, they all rescue her. Another cry-worthy moment is when she is trying to take off her shackles, and the mask was just like heart-wrenching to me. And then I always forget about the word marks. I always forget about those. The one time that I really like think about word marks and can picture them in my mind is book 2, when Alien draws the word marks for the portal and sees Nehemia, and that's the only part that I really remember about word marks. And so when they brought up the fact that word marks could open her shackles, I was like, I totally forgot about them. I'm like jumping through everything. I love Dorian and Manon. I love Dorian and Manon. They are so like unapologetically like themselves in the fact that like we may not love each other, but we need each other, if that makes sense. Like they don't love each other romantically yet. They don't love each other. They have like a liking or like a physical attraction to each other, and it just like they just know that I need you. I don't want to say it because I don't want to be that person to say that, but I do need you. And the scene with Dorian like asking Manon to be his queen and like to join their peoples, I was just like, do it, please. That ended up not happening. Maybe in my mind I could pretend that it did, since it won't ever like come to fruition. This last book and all. I also want to talk about Dorian for a second, because Dorian has changed so much throughout these books. We have him kind of as a little selfish little prince a little bit in book 1, and all the way to this book where he's willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good, for Aylin, for the world, and he's just changed so much. And it would be like so weird if like book 1 I knew that about Dorian, because I would be like, no, like I don't know, how could that even happen? Dorian has just grown so much. I'm so proud of him. Oh, I'm just jumping everywhere through this freaking review. Another time that I cried was those scenes when Rowan and Aylin could picture each other's future, or like Aylin pictured the future she could have had without all of these gods and everything. Her with Rowan there, like right when they meet, they know that they're mates. And then the scene that really got me was Rowan having a dream of their family. That scene just about killed me. Okay, next part. One of my favorite things throughout this entire book. Kayla and Irene. I love them in Tower of Dawn so much. Irene was like my new favorite character in this whole series. Like I love her a lot. She's one of my favorite, like up there at the top with like Manon. So I'll be putting in a clip for the next point that I'm going to talk about, and it's about Kayla and Irene. I had a prediction for this book, and it came true. I had a prediction that Irene was going to be pregnant, or she already was at the end of Tower of Dawn, and I'll go into that in the next clip that I put in of why I thought that. Like, I just have in all caps, like almost the entire page, I knew Irene would be pregnant. Like, I knew it was gonna happen. I told all my friends it was gonna happen. I told them, I was like, I told you. It's one of my favorite things throughout this book. Okay, here's the clip. I've already cried like 3 times, and it's only page, I think, 74. Yes, 74. Page 74. Oh my god. For the parts that I've cried is the part before even the first chapter, that little snippet of Aiden. Oh my god. 2 is when Rowan has the dream about Aiden and their children. That got to me. And the part, page 74, that just got me is Irene being pregnant. Let me just say, that was one of my predictions for Kingdom of Ash, because at the end of Tower of Dawn, there's this scene on the boat, like the last scene on the boat, and like I think the page or the chapter starts off with stating how like Yall put his arms around Irene and placed him on her stomach, which I at first thought that she was pregnant. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, so cool, that's great. But then they were like, oh no, we're just married, we're just cuddling. I was like, oh, okay, but I still think she's gonna be pregnant in this book, and she is. Next on my notes, we have how that spider, I forget what her name is, but that spider comes and finds Manon because she stole the silk spider web for Abraxas from this spider, who also happened to be, like, I think his name's Falcon, the spider who turned Falcon into like an older person, like he took lives off of him, and then Falcon becomes young again because the spider dies. I was just like, whoa. I didn't even think about like that spider being connected to Falcon, but that ended up happening. Didn't even realize it. But this spider like introduces to Dorian what a shifter should do to become a shifter. He learns from this spider how to become something else through his magic, and that basically like saves the whole book, because if you think about it, none of this stuff would have happened, like a bunch of stuff would not happen if Dorian could not master those powers. He would have not gone into Morath and taken the key, and he would not have tricked Erewhon at the end. He wouldn't have, so kind of like grateful that the spider exists and showed up. Okay, I'm trying to like go like speedily through this because I know this is gonna be like a really, really, really long video. Nox shows up, who was in Throne of Glass. Loved that. I haven't talked about Manon yet. Manon. Let's just say I love how she's Kraken Queen. I totally forgot when I came into this book that she was heir to like the Kraken throne. I totally forgot about that. And I loved the scenes with Glennis and everything. And her with that crown. Her killing that witch, the matron witch. One of the best scenes in this book, killing that witch. And then to see her grandmother just like run away. On my notes, we just have the torturing scenes from Aylin's point of view just got to me. And the next snippet you will see is my reaction to that chapter that ends with Maeve going to get the collars. That scene was just horrible to me. I literally wrote, I am praying to God she doesn't have to go through that. I will literally throw my book across the room. I told myself, I was like, I'm not finishing this book if she has to go through that. Because I could not also read about Aylin and Dorian going through something like that. That's just no. So when I found out about that, I immediately broke down. I called my friend Katie, who was reading it at the same time, who was a little bit ahead of me, and I just like cried to her on the phone. She was like, just keep reading, keep reading. So like I had a little bit of hope that maybe it would get better. Ended up did. It was a freaking lie. Here's my reaction to that. I am on page 192. Something just happened that I'm not okay with at all. I really hope the thing I think is going to happen doesn't actually happen, because I think I would maybe stop reading this book if that happened, because I don't want it to happen. And it's only like almost page 200 out of almost 1,000. Like I'm like dead already. I don't know how the rest of this is going to go. I also forgot that Aylin could also do blood oaths. I forgot about that because I think we talked about it in another book, because Aiden was supposed to like be the first person to do the blood oath. So when Fenris gets the blood oath. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, whoa, that is a smart idea to have him take the blood oath to save his life. And I'm really glad that she did, because I love Fenris a lot. And then she had Lorcan do the blood oath, and Lorcan did it to be with Alid, to show Alid that he, like, isn't gonna, like, go back to Maeve or trick anybody. Then at the end, Aiden takes the blood oath just like he should have, like, the whole time. And it's all something funny that I really love. Page 403, Kayal brought with him on his ship from the continent he was on with Irene the couch from his room, the golden couch, because that is where he learned to walk again, and that is where he and Irene found love, and I loved that so much. Everybody finds out that Maeve is a Vogue queen, and I was kind of just like, well, it took y'all long enough. I also want to say that I freaking love Hussar and her comments. She's so funny. I also love Borte and Yeren. They're cute, even though they, like, hate each other. I love them so much. There's a scene I just wrote, Dorian's a woman. I love the scene where he shifts into a woman to, like, see if he can trick people, and he, like, tries to understand a woman's body. And Manon is like, I'm surprised you haven't, like, gone and, like, felt yourself up. He's like, who says I haven't? I love their bickering. Okay, another scene that really, really got to me. Alid and Lorcan, when Lorcan gets stabbed and Alid goes out and, like, flies on the back of a horse, goes to save him, finds him through, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of soldiers, puts him on the back of a horse, gets him racing across this field, like, racing across it, and then Lorcan is prepared to sacrifice himself to make Alid live. The scene where she just grabs onto him and is like, no, I will not let you go. That's love, ladies and gentlemen. That's love. Manon, through this book, finally realized how she can come to care for people. She shouldn't be ashamed or worried about caring for somebody, and she realizes that through Dorian. Again, I love them. I love them. Alid and Lorcan finally, like, get together and, like, tell each other that they love each other. Like, freaking finally. I've just been waiting. Some people, like, hate Lorcan or whatever, but he was sworn to a blood oath and he didn't really have a choice in the matter. And since he's finally free, he can be with the woman that he loves. I love that. I'm trash for it. I hate Kayal's father. I hate Kayal's father. He took all those letters and put them in a trunk to keep from him. Freaking hate him. So part 2 of the book starts off with Dorian in Morath. We get a large portion of Dorian in Morath trying to find the last and final word key. There's just a big WTF in my notes when Dorian tells Maeve, like, proposes to Maeve somewhat, and I was just like, what? And I was so upset at him, because for a minute there I thought it was true. I thought he was gonna follow through with it, because we didn't really get an implication of, like, him lying or anything, because Maeve saw into his mind, and then we realized he tricked her. He tricked her. Such a good boy. Such a good boy. I love how he's able to take away her, like, portal magic or whatever. She can't do portals anymore. Loved it. She deserved it so much. We also get to confront Alid's uncle and we get closure on that. He gets to rot in hell, basically. Got what he deserved. Rowan gives Aelin a new tattoo because one of the things that I really hated about Maeve is she made Aelin a new skin, or, like, had healers make her a new skin every time that Karen tortured her. Aelin was Aelin because of all the scars and marks and tattoos on her body. That's who she physically is. That's how she taps into the human part of herself. That's how she tunes into all of her friends who have passed, all of the events that she's gone through. She can see that as, like, a story on her body, and it's beautiful. And Maeve took it away from her. Bitch. Bitch. I was so upset. Rowan puts the tattoos on her back. We have a little picture. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's through the dress. This is also her coronation dress with the crown and the sword, but we get those wings on the back of her that have word marks in them that help her escape that, like, limbo that she was in. Rowan's so smart. I didn't think of that. When, like, Mala at the end, like, pulled the word marks out of her tattoo, I was not expecting that. I was expecting Aelin to die, and Rowan saved her life yet again. The battle scenes, all the battle scenes were, like, so intense and you could just picture everything in your mind. At least I did. And I loved those battle scenes so much with Lysandra and Aiden, Manon, like everybody. But one scene got to me, you'll see in the next clip, is the Abraxas scene. I thought he was about to die. I thought he was about to die, started crying, and then just laid on my bedroom floor because I legit cried so hard that I fell to the floor, like knelt on the floor and didn't get up. So that's what this is.
Wow, okay. I don't know how to form sentences. I am like emotionally drained and it's not even over yet. That was probably the worst that I've cried so far. I literally haven't even gotten up. I literally fell onto the carpet and I haven't gotten up because I was just crying. If he dies, I'm just gonna I don't know, my soul is going to break. I have no words.
And we'll go right into the next clip. The clip you saw at the beginning of this video is about the 13, chapter 89. That's what everyone is talking about. I'll insert that clip now. I was so upset, devastated. They all saved themselves for Manon. And it was beautiful, but heartbreaking.
Oh my god. That is probably the most I have ever cried during a book. Can't breathe. The end of chapter 89. I'm not okay right now. I can't. I want to stop, but I don't want to stop. I'm so sad. I'm so sad right now. I'm really an ugly crier, aren't I? Oh my god. The audiobook also makes it like so much more real, and the 13, they did that to save her. Save everybody, and then they all did the yielding, and Esther and Wyvern died, and I'm not okay. And this is gonna hurt Manon like a lot, and I'm not okay.
That is like probably the most I've ever cried about a scene or a book. It's probably the worst thing I've ever read. Worst thing. I was so surprised also when Rowan proposed the idea of Aelin and Dorian forming the gate together. I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, they could probably do it together. They could survive. And then Aelin just shoves him out of there once his father appears. His father. For a while, since I've read these last couple books, I've often wondered whether or not, like, Sarah even had this in mind, like, this place or this world, like, becoming the way that it is now, like having all these creatures, all these fae, like having Aelin like be this magical, have all these magical friends and blah blah blah. And I wondered when she was writing book 1, like if she thought that this is what was going to happen, and like if she knew that like, oh, this is how our world's gonna be, it's gonna be so much bigger than we thought, and Erewhon's gonna be here and blah blah blah. I didn't know if she like had like thought of that since book 1, and we kind of get that an answer to that question when the king of Otterland is like, nameless is my price. And he asks Aelin and Dorian, what's my name? And they have no idea. They have no idea because we have never ever been told the king's name. I didn't even think about that at all. I was so shocked. I was like, this has been going since book 1. Nameless is my price. He doesn't have a name. Erewhon stole that from him. And when Erewhon is being killed, Dorian forces the name out of him. And Erewhon tells him, Dorian was your father's name. Once he held you, the name for a second popped up in his mind and he remembered and named you after him. That got to me. That was beautiful. It was just like whole entire like 360 like forming on itself, like this whole story just like coming together since book 1. I like wrote on here, the shitstorm just happened starting at chapter 96, like just goes downhill from there. Elena's destroyed. Frickin', I did not want that to happen. I loved Elena. That sucked. Those gods are horrible. They broke their promise, and I'm so glad that Aelin like retaliated and basically shoved them all into a hell world for it. When she escaped from the portal, she's permanently fae, so she doesn't have that human part of herself anymore, and she doesn't have that giant power that she had, but she still has some, and she's like so perfectly fine with it. I would be too. She's freaking alive. Darrow and Evangeline just like softens Darrow's heart, and I loved it. I've loved Evangeline since we met her. And she just like makes this cranky old man like realize how great of a queen Aelin could be. And I loved her for it. The final battle was intense, really intense. I was not expecting all those portals to appear and like all those fae who had it out for Maeve just coming to destroy everything that she stood for. I loved it. I'm just saying I loved it so much throughout this video, aren't I? Whoops. So, Erewhon gets killed. Frickin' finally, by Irene. I was so worried about her with the baby though. I was really hoping that like nothing actually happened to this baby, because I know. But she does it, she kills him. She's brilliant, and the whole army is just praising her. She deserves it. Fenris is the one that gets to kill Maeve, well, stabs her, brings about her death. He got to do that. He deserved to be able to do that to her. Oh, everything's just... I also cried during Elide and Manon's reunion at the end of this book. Oh, so good. Lorcan and Elide decide to like get married, and his name is going to be Lord Lorcan Locken. And we also find out that Manon ended up breaking the curse for her people, or the curse ended up being broken because of her 13. Oh, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. See, everything just comes full circle. Everything just comes full circle in this book. We get Avens Coronation. She finally gets crowned queen. Beautiful. At the beginning of that scene with the lead like walking down the aisle, for a minute I thought that she was walking down to get married. But no, Aelin was getting coronated. But we do know by the end of the book that Lorcan becomes Lord Lorcan Locken, and they got married and everything. The end with Aelin just staring out into the sky with Rowan, just like beautiful. It was beautiful. I loved it. I loved this book so much. There's probably way more that I could have talked about, but I guess I'm gonna leave it at that. If I've forgotten something or that you want to know my opinion about, please just leave it down in the comments. We can talk about it together. I'd love to talk about this book with some other people because all my friends haven't started yet or haven't finished it yet. So I'd love to talk to some people about it. Thank y'all so much for watching, if you're even watching to this point. And yeah, I'll see y'all soon with the next one. Bye.